welcome back to Bloody Good Chats, where for the next 20 to 30 minutes, you're our best friends. So sit back, relax, and let's have a bloody good time.
Period.
Hi, queens.
Hey, girls.
Hey, queen. How are you?
I'm so good.
That's so good.
I feel actually a little bit sad that I accidentally bought almond milk cross.
Hybrid.
Yeah. It's a collab. Almond milk collabed with coconut milk, and I just wanted coconut milk, and I didn't realise.
Did you make mine with coconut milk? Or
No,
normal
yours
milk?
is with normal, yeah.
Yeah. I hate that when you buy something and you're like, that wasn't what I was supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is I go to the store for one specific thing and I forget it. Yeah. And I feel like I'm notorious for doing that.
Though. Like forgetting
I
things.
know, because I'm not a very forgetful person.
No, she's
Eliza
really
was just
good
trying
at
to figure
remembering
out
stuff.
for like 10 minutes what day of a cycle she was on, and I was like, it's day 8, it's day 8, day 8.
Wait, day 9?
Sorry, don't have to confuse you. I was like, Wednesday you were day 2, Wednesday you were day 2. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
On that topic, take it away.
No, you go first.
Okay. I'm cycle day 18 today. And I not going to lie, guys, I feel like I felt cruisy, but I feel like my body is saying otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I really hate that because I feel like my body is so much smarter than me. For example, I have had an eye twitch for like a week now, and I feel like my eye twitches when I'm like subconsciously stressed. I've kinked my neck, and I like the whole weekend I like couldn't really like move my neck. And then this morning I've woken up with a little bit of a sore throat. And I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm just chilling, everything's cool, but I feel like my body is saying something else.
Wonder what it is.
I don't know. I think it maybe, and I'm like trying to prioritize, like I'm having sleep and making sure that I'm trying to get outside. It's been raining, which makes it really hard. But yeah, I feel like I'm in this like kind of battle with like, I feel good mentally, but then my body's kind of like, girl, chill the fuck out. I don't really know how to describe it.
Wow. Wait, what day were you again?
I'm day 18, and even like my, like I've even felt, like literally last night I was like, am I about to get my period? Because I felt like a bit like crampy. But then I could have also, I do also think maybe I just ate something that my body didn't agree with.
Got you. Did you do your LH test? Did you ovulate?
Yeah,
Okay.
ovulated. You know what it is actually, now that I think of the cramps, I actually had GYG, Uber Eats, on Sunday.
Every night this week.
Every night this week, on Sunday. And guys, let me tell you, I love GYG, Guzman and Gomez, for those of you who don't know the abbreviation. And I got a big chicken burrito, added all the extras, got chips, got sauce, and honestly, since then, I think that's what I've been having, like a crampy tummy.
Must pay for your sins.
Yeah, so it just goes to show that, you know, I can enjoy my food, but my body does tell me for days afterwards, hey, we didn't actually like that as much as you thought we did. Will I do it again?
The kinked neck.
Yes. The kinked neck and the eye twitch, and they're both on the right side, which is that's your masculine side. And I have searched it up. I have been chatting with my good friend.
Any discoveries?
I think the eye twitch
That you would be
is,
confident
like,
in telling the world?
The eye twitch is like not seeing things, like it's something about a perspective, and then the kinked neck is like looking like in regards to looking around or like looking in your past or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So don't really know what's going on, but when I do know, you guys will be the first to know. Well, actually, that's a lie. Eliza will be the first to know, and
Gotcha.
then I might decide if I would like to share with the rest of everyone. Eliza comes first.
Yes.
Okay, that was me.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing.
That's okay.
I hope that your body is okay.
I know. Well, I feel
I
capable.
feel like something's brewing.
For me?
Yeah.
I know, and it's making me scared.
I'm really excited though. Change is good. Change is fun.
Yeah, if you guys read my sister's scoop this week, that's exactly what I was talking about.
It's like fucking on the, what's that thing called?
Cauldron.
Yeah.
Who's stirring it though? Who's stirring my cauldron?
I don't
Who's
know.
got my voodoo doll?
When were the earthquakes? What month?
February.
Okay.
Yeah,
Long gone.
there was drama in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the reason Eliza asked that, guys, is because there's been so many times where, like, if you wake up and you have a funky day and you're like, why am I in such a weird mood today? Look back on, like, significant life events that have happened to you.
For example, Maya will look back on her Instagram, Instagram history stories and go, oh my God, that was when so-and-so did this to me.
Because I post everything on my close friends. It's like my journal. That's how I keep track. And so
For
then,
her health, obviously.
obviously. And then sometimes I'll have realizations and I'll be like, wow, this literally happened 5 years ago today and I've had such an off day today. Or the weirdest one for me was that it was something about, like, I was having dreams about, like, my ex-boyfriend's mum and it was her birthday that day or something. Like, just weird things like that where it's like your intuition knows.
Yeah, you're
before
very
you
witchy
do.
like that, I reckon.
Yeah, something happened today or yesterday and I was like, oh, I had a dream about that. What were we talking about? Yesterday in the car. And I was like, that just reminded me I dreamt about that. And it was the weirdest topic
Something
of
about the UK,
conversation.
was it? You dreamt about a place, I
I
think.
don't know. I have very
Anyway.
weird dreams. I'm yet to tell you my dream from last... Oh, no, I did tell you my dream from last night, didn't I? That my sister was
Oh,
dating
yeah,
someone.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to come true. She's in a very
Healthy
loving
relationship. Yes. I hope that doesn't come true for her
That would
sake.
be
That
so
would be
weird.
Anyway, guys, I'm day 10, actually. Just did the maths, so it's actually day 10.
That would make sense.
Yes. And I'm feeling good. It's definitely a time in my cycle where downstairs is getting moist and
Yep. Oh, damn!
not in, like, I don't mean, you know, I'm not trying to make this sexual, but I'm just trying to educate you girls that it is normal to have more cervical mucus at different times of your cycle.
Do you want to know something that I saw today? And I'm
What?
sorry to keep talking because I feel like Eliza hasn't said a word yet, but I saw this trend. Oh, no, not a trend. I saw a video of a dude on Instagram and he was like, living a day in the life as my ovulating girlfriend, and he cracked an egg white into his undies and then put his undies on, and he's like walking around with his egg whites in his undies,
Oh
and
my
because he
God.
wanted to like feel what it would be like.
Oh my God, speaking of that, this is terrible. Our housemate is notorious for sending memes, and he sent a meme to my partner, and it was something so inappropriate, girls, and I'm not for this kind of behavior, but it was like, my gooch has been so sweaty today, I feel like I got a vagina.
That's so something that he would send.
Terrible.
Anyway, tell us why your vagina is sweaty.
Yeah, she's not sweaty, guys. But yeah, as you creep closer to ovulation, naturally your body is going to create more cervical mucus, and the reason for this is because whether we're wanting to get pregnant or not, our body is ovulating either way. Like, we don't get to say, no, I don't want to get pregnant, so don't ovulate. Our body's just doing it naturally because the human race wants to go on. It wants to, procreate. So with ovulation approaching, my body knows that sperm actually can't survive in the acidic environment that our vagina has. So it creates less acidic cervical mucus, and also this cervical mucus helps the sperm swim to the egg. So it's also different cervical mucus for one, survival of sperm, but also helping sperm get to the egg, which is really fucking interesting and completely normal. I wish we knew this sooner because, my God, that would have saved me so many years of embarrassment.
You know what I just thought of? Isn't it funny that it's kind of like egg whites and an egg is an egg and we're like ovulating an egg?
Yeah.
I've
it
never
is.
thought of that.
Yeah, I also I needed to do a bit more research because, like, I had chickens growing up and we had, like, what are they called? What are the baby chickens called?
Chickenettes.
No, what the, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Chicks, yeah.
Chickenettes.
Baby, yeah. We had chicks, and I always wonder, how does the male sperm get into the female's egg? Because it's got a shell.
But doesn't the shell...
Form afterwards, maybe.
Yeah.
But because sometimes, guys, not to gross you out, but sometimes you might crack an egg and you can actually see a potential...
fetus?
Yeah, that was there. It's
Oh.
like a little bit of, like, blood next to the like there's that weird like squiggly bit. You've got the yolk, and there's like a weird squiggly bit that connects it to the white. That is the thing that gets fertilized. I'm pretty sure.
Eliza's a farm girl, so whatever she tells me about farms, I'm like, oh,
I actually have this
shouldn't know
crazy
that.
story, guys. This is so off topic, but I feel like it's kind of funny. We had, like, every now and again, we would go and collect the chicken eggs and duck eggs and blah, blah, blah every morning. Anyway, there was, like, a pile of eggs that we didn't even notice that was there, so they had gotten rotten. And we were like, hell yeah, let's go smash these on a tree, because rotten eggs, because there's so much like gas that forms into them, they usually like explode really big and they stink really bad. Anyway, all kid stuff. So we had like 5 eggs and we're like piffing them at these trees. One, like we throw it at the tree and it just explodes before it even hits the tree because there was just so much pressure in the egg, and we were just having the best time. Anyway, then this is just the universe. It was on our side. I think it was my brother or my sister. She threw an egg, but she threw it really bad. Like, it wasn't hard. It was like a really soft throw, and then it hit the tree. And then we hear this chip, 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 chip. And we were like, oh my God, there's a baby in there. Anyway, so we brought it inside and we had to like unhatch this duck egg, and then we raised this duck, and I can't remember what it was named, but it used to just follow us around the house, and we like had that duck forever.
A duck?
Yeah, it was a duck. It was a baby duck.
Oh my God, that's the cutest thing ever.
I know. Like,
what did you name it?
That's what I need to remember. Well, I'll ask my sister, and then we'll put it in the show notes so you guys can have a read. But I forget what its
like
name.
Daisy the duck or something.
Yeah, it was something. I can't remember. Anyway, it followed us everywhere, and
that's really
isn't
cute.
it just funny? Like the one egg that we were like piffing these things. That duck, so sad, would have been dead, but we really thought they were all rotten, which 95% of them were, except for this one egg that wasn't. And then the one egg that wasn't, she accidentally like missed her throw, and the duck survived.
There you go. That's really cute.
Anyway, so back to my cycle. Day 10.
Anyway.
Yeah, day 10, feeling good, feeling energized. Definitely I actually wrote a scoop on this morning about wanting to do like a million things all at once and like setting so many goals for the one thing. And then I don't know if you feel this sometimes. I think it's like this universal feeling after you've journaled. You know when you've like you've just vented to someone, and then you sit back and you reflect and you're like, wait, is that even true for me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it's got, like, because then I was thinking about it, I was like, nah, I'm actually pretty good at sticking to goals.
It's like the heat of the moment, too. It's like an argument, and then afterwards you're like, actually, I don't really care that much. I don't know why I reacted like that.
But I do really, like, I do set a lot of goals, but I did reflect back and I'm like, oh, I think that was a bit harsh on myself. Like, I am actually quite disciplined. I do get things done, but I've set way too many goals to get that thing done. So it's definitely true. But then I was also reflecting and was like, I'm in like my follicular phase. Maybe this is like a very follicular phase thing of setting so many goals, wanting to rebrand yourself and like turn into this new version of myself. So I'm definitely gonna I feel it as though when I first started cycle tracking, I noticed all those individual little things. Whereas now that I've been cycle tracking for so long, I kind of just, all I really try and remember is like what day of my cycle am I on. I feel like all those granular things I've kind of don't really track anymore. And then when that sparked in my brain, I was like, oh, that would be interesting to actually notice when am I writing goals, or what kind of YouTube content am I looking at, what kind of Instagram content is like sparking in me, and just reflecting if it's the same throughout my cycle. And hey, not everything's going to be related to your cycle, and I don't want to make meaning out of nothing, but I think it would just be interesting to just to reconnect with that part.
I remember when we were in Europe, I started making an emotional cycle tracker to keep log of like the thoughts that I was having, even the dreams that I was having too, and like seeing if I could find patterns in like my motivation, or like, I don't know, it was definitely more of a witchy kind of side to it. Yeah. For sure. But I never ended up printing that out. I don't even I think it was like an idea.
That must have been a follicular
phase idea. And then I was like, a few days later, I was like, can't be bothered. But yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like, and as you said, you can't relate everything back to the cycle, but you also kind of can.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you kind of can. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool that you've noticed that within yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's the art of the Sister Scoops, is that it is storytelling. And as a storyteller, you do have to exaggerate and sometimes question
I'm like, whoa.
things you say sometimes. Although sometimes I feel like I write things and I'm like, wow, I didn't even realise I felt like that.
Yes.
And then I'm like, shit. shit.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
For sure. I think it's just the more that I read, I think it's like when you are being vulnerable, you even me listening back to that episode last week, I was mortified because I feel like I was so, like, it was a great episode and I'm super proud of myself for being vulnerable, but when you listen back to yourself being vulnerable, I was like, oh, get over yourself, like, do you know what I mean? Like, even reading the scoop last night, I was like, oh, poor you. Like, I just thought, I don't know, I just think it is very, you know, but that's just a part of life. I don't know.
My mum came over the other day and I was saying about just this next chapter of like change, and I was like, I'm just so excited to like change things up, blah blah blah. And we're sitting in this, like, guys, our house was like put on the market and it was like over $3 million.
Yeah, it's stunning.
We're in this insane
mansion
house. And my mum goes, yeah, poor you, just sitting here in this mansion, can't wait to move out. And I was like, oh yeah, you got a really good point.
I love a good reality check though, especially if it's coming in a loving way. There's nothing like give me the reality check.
Yeah.
I feel like that it is really nice because I think we do live in a world that is very like, like, I'm going to be so kind to you. And sometimes like that's why Hannah, Socially Sans, if anyone wants a reality check that's trying to start a business online, she is your go-to girl. And that's what she just like tells it how it is. And is like, well, if you want to make content, pick up your fucking phone. And I'm like, oh God, that is just, it's almost refreshing because you're like, it just feels so human. Like,
I think she's the one, she was like, we were on her free summit a few weeks ago and she was like, you're just not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
You're not trying. And so in my head for the last 2 weeks, I'm like, fuck, I'm just really not trying hard enough. I'm not trying hard enough.
For the last 2 weeks we have been, like I said to Jessie last night, because we've been posting on Solistic like 3 times a week and we were like, fuck it, should we just go every day this week? And Jessie's like, well, if it's manageable for you girls. And we've posted every single day this week. We've got 3 emails going out for Solistic. We've posted twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day on Souls and Sync.
Yeah.
3 emails again for Souls and Sync. I'm like, all right, it's actually kind of worked.
Yeah. And I feel like it's not hard. You just adapt to it.
Yeah.
I'm also like a planner. Like if I know what I'm doing, I can do it. But it's like when I've planned my day and someone goes, do this, I'm like, whoa, no, like that wasn't in my schedule. But if I have it like planned out, then I'm capable of way more than I think I am.
Yes, 100%.
That's what my gym trainer says to me too.
Yes.
I know you can do it, Maya.
You can.
No,
Chin
I
up
can't.
tonight.
Chin up tonight.
Let's go.
Yeah, chin up tonight. Okay. Anyway, we have rambled, but that's all right. We obviously needed to get that off our chest and just kind of regroup before we sat down and spoke to the beautiful world of cyclical living. This is obviously such a big topic. This is also kind of what, like, I suppose catapulted Eliza and I's Instagram in the direction that it has gone in. But we have definitely had some thoughts and feelings that have changed in regards to cyclical living over the years that we have been connected to our cycles and understanding our hormones. So we thought we would share that today. So we're going to tell you what cyclical living is. We're going to go into the good, we're going to go into the bad, and we're going to tell you what we do to live in sync with our own cycles. It might come to a little bit of a surprise to a lot of you, I think, because obviously we have a social media platform that is about the menstrual cycle. So you would assume that we are, you know, cyclical living until the cows come home. Is that a phrase?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, farm girl. So yeah, we don't actually do that. And you're going to find that out today. What is cyclical living, Eliza? Tell us.
So cyclical living, as you girls may or may not know, I'll start at the basics. So every single month, pretty much, we go through a cycle. And within that cycle, there's 4 distinct phases. So we have the menstrual phase, which is when we're bleeding. Then we move through to our follicular phase. Then we have our ovulation phase, which is when we're ovulating. Then we have our luteal phase, and then back into our menstrual phase. So we just keep going through that cycle every 28 days on average. Within that, our hormones are constantly changing, ebbing and flowing. And these hormones have control over our energy, our mood, our sex drive, our communication skills, our metabolism, our immune system. So by educating yourself in regards to the different hormones and what they're doing at different times of the cycle, we can actually use that information to our advantage to eat differently, move differently, live differently, do work differently based on our strengths and also our weaknesses at different times of our cycle. So that in essence is what cyclical living is. It's changing your food, your workout routine, your lifestyle, and also your work routine based on the changes that you're going through.
Beautiful explanation.
Thanks.
So beautiful. And if you are someone who is new to the world of your cycle and hormones, a really good place to start is our ebook. We created that specifically around your cycle. And I think, not to toot our own horn, but I'm very good at tooting our horns. That sounded wrong, but you know what I meant. I think that the ebook is a really good representation of being able to understand your cycle, understand what your hormones are doing, and then there are some recommendations based around your cycle. It's not necessarily like you have to do this, and this. It is more of how we would describe nature moving through seasons. It's a transition, it's slow, it's flowy, and it's less of a strict regimented rule book.
Yeah.
So we'll link that in the show notes if you guys want to dive into that. We think that's a really good place to start. But we wanted to speak to, what should we speak to first?
Well, I was thinking just with what you've said, maybe we could also talk to what is the seasonal approach, because I feel like that will help us when we're explaining our approach and how we like to. Yeah. So if you want to talk to that.
Okay. Well, why don't we start with menstruation? So let's start, actually, hang on, rewind. Let's start to the seasons
Of nature.
So nature has 4 seasons. We move through winter, spring, summer, and autumn. And so there are 4 seasons in nature, and there's also 4 phases of the menstrual cycle. And in traditional Chinese medicine, is that right? Traditional Chinese medicine, they refer the outer seasons of nature to the inner seasons of your body. So we move through menstruation, follicular phase, ovulation, and your luteal phase. So the characteristics that come from our inner seasons, our cycle phases, can be compared to the outer seasons in nature. And this is where we come back to the fact that our bodies are merely a mirror to nature and our external world. So if you think of winter as a season, it's cold, the animals are hibernating, you're having warming foods, you're wearing warm clothes, you're staying inside, you're watching movies. Winter can be compared to the menstrual phase. So that is essentially menstruation, where you're shedding your uterine lining, your hormone levels are at their lowest, so you are going to be feeling less energized, essentially. You're going to be craving more warming foods, you're going to be wanting to be less social and more inward, and that's very similar to what we would experience in winter as a season. After menstruation, so after winter, it's springtime. So outer nature, when it's spring, everything's starting to warm up. You can kind of feel that heightened energy in the air, like something's about to happen. The flowers are blooming, animals are coming out of hibernation, the snow is melting, all of those kinds of things. So that's what we can compare to our follicular phase. So the follicular phase is essentially like the start of the new cycle, because that's when your follicle that will be where the egg ruptures from is starting to develop. So the follicular phase in your body can feel like you have this new burst of creative energy, essentially. And then that is what propels you forward into
your ovulation phase, which can be compared to the outer season of summer. Bloody love summer, don't we?
We love summer. Oh, don't we love ovulating?
Oh, we love summer in all aspects. Personally, anyway, I'm a very summer girl, and I think that's something that I probably need to learn to lean more into my winter seasons, and that's what cyclical living is really great for, is learning to love all seasons. But ovulation can be compared to the outer season of summer. So if we think of summer as a season, we're out, the days are longer, the sun's out longer, so we're more social, there's more events happening, festivals, things, it's all go, go, go. You're feeling really energized, your skin is glowing, you're feeling vibrant, you're wearing a little cute little dress, you're feeling flirty, and this is very similar to how you're feeling in your ovulation phase, because remembering what I spoke to at the beginning of the episode, whether we're wanting to or not, our body wants us to fall pregnant during this phase, so it's going to do everything possible to make that happen. It actually makes our skin more glowy, our communication skills are thriving. Our voice is actually slightly more higher pitched during this time of our cycle, which is crazy, to attract a male. Yeah. Can you hear it in my voice today? No, I'm joking. So yeah, that's really the essence of ovulation, is vibrant energy, etc. Then we move into our luteal phase. So this is a time in our cycle when internally our body thinks that we potentially could be pregnant. It's done all this hard work, it's ruptured an egg. For all it knows, that egg got fertilized and we are pregnant. So it starts to conserve our energy because it wants to protect that egg. And this can be compared to the outer season of
autumn.
Yes.
Did you forget?
Yeah, I forgot it. And I think that Maya's analogy for this is so good. I don't know if anyone's seen Over the Hedge. Incredible movie.
Guys, we need to watch that.
Yeah, we should watch that. Incredible movie. And the animals are working really hard to hibernate. So they're cleaning things up, making their home, getting snacks ready. And this is really what the luteal phase is all about. It's autumn as an outer season is when animals are preparing to go into winter. If we think about a colder climate, obviously here in Queensland not so much, but colder climate, bears are doing a lot. They're just finishing up, tying up loose ends so that they can rest properly in their winter phase. And that's how we can really see our luteal phase is you'll probably notice you want to start cleaning your room, cleaning your wardrobe. You need more food during this time. You're just wrapping projects up so that when your bleed arrives, you can rest.
Yeah.
So just intuitively it happens, which is really, really cool.
So cool.
So in essence, outer seasons of nature can be compared to the inner seasons of your cycle.
Which,
this is just invigorating me.
how amazing is your body?
I haven't spoken about this in so long.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's a reminder. You're like,
yeah.
wow, we are legends. We're absolute legends. And to think that everyone came from a menstrual cycle as well. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. I was also just picturing a bear wrapping up loose ends.
Yes.
But that is, the seasons and the seasonal analogy of the 4 phases of the cycle. So when you come to understand that, a really good way that we like to explain cyclical living is that it doesn't need to be something that's really hard and adds another layer to your life. It can be as simple as just thinking about what you would do in that outer season and applying that to your body.
Yeah.
So
the end of the episode.
yeah, literally. And I think that is the good that comes from cyclical living. Let's focus on that first.
Yeah.
The good that comes from it is that obviously you are becoming more in tune with your own body whilst you are living in sync with your cycle phases. And you are also... That's it. I lost my train of thought, guys. Sorry.
Also, as well, I think before we get into continuing to explain the good stuff about it, we do want to preface that if your cycle doesn't look and feel like this right now, what might be going on is that you have an unhealthy cycle and there needs to be some support to get you in the right direction. So if you want some support, let us know. That's exactly what we do in our Hormone Harmony programs. But B, not everyone's the same. So please drop all expectations of what your cycle should look and feel like. And this is why we always say start with cycle tracking. We don't want, some women can feel quite low in ovulation and that's okay too. In nature, not everything the same. We have the seasons in Australia, like southeast Queensland, are much different to the seasons in Canada. So nature is very different and there's so many, vast experiences that we can all have. So please don't beat
feel
yourself
like
up.
you need to fit into these categories.
Correct.
Yes.
But it is, I would say that the vast majority of women can relate to some of the things that we have just spoken to. But good things about cyclical living, I think, one, we always bloody say this, but I love that we have these repeated messages in our podcast because I feel like the more that we can repeat this stuff, hopefully it starts to sink into your brains. But it does provide you a lot of context as to what's going on in your body and what this can mean for your emotions, your energy, rather than beating yourself up and going, oh my God, I'm so snappy today, or I'm just not as energized today. There must be something wrong with me. It actually provides you with a template as to why this is happening. So you don't have to have that conversation of like, this is my fault. You can actually have that conversation as this is my biology and what can I do to start accepting that, I think is really, really important.
And obviously there comes that fine line of like, if you're experiencing those really intense mood changes, maybe it's not your biology and your hormones actually do need awareness. So this is where we would take what we're saying with a grain of salt. Why am I trying these phrases that I just don't know today? But we would definitely recommend, doing this whilst you're cycle tracking. And if you are super, super up and down and you're experiencing like an Australian summer and a Canadian winter, and they're completely like polar opposites, and you're experiencing them so intensely and they're so different, maybe that's when bringing awareness to your cycle would be encouraged. I would encourage that anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think that with understanding the 4 phases, there comes a lot of clarity and acceptance towards your body. And I think something that we have failed to recognize as women is that we're not supposed to be the same all the time either. And I think that's where cyclical living really just allows you to appreciate yourself as you are. And when you understand the 4 phases, it's like you would never, unless you're Eliza and you love summer, you would never look outside and be like, oh my God, I just hate nature. It's so horrible. Like, why isn't it what I want it to be like? You are always appreciative, and you know that when you go out in nature, you feel good. So I love that, because that's how I feel within my body, is I'm like, oh no, I know that I'm just moving through different phases like nature, and that's okay. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and I think another great thing that cyclical living does is you learn your capacity, which can then change your expectations of yourself. So if you know at different times of your cycle you don't have as much capacity, or you do have more capacity, you can preempt some of your expectations, whether that be socially, how many social outings you're going to do, how much you can give to other people in your relationships in your life, whether that's friends, family, or your partner. But also in work capacity, you can understand what you need to do. You can maybe work a little bit harder during some phases and smash your goals out, which can then mean that later on in your cycle, you don't have to have this crazy unrealistic expectation of yourself. And we're saying this, I know that, if you're working in hospitality, there's no difference. Like day in, day out, you're serving, you're doing stuff. You can't really change that. So obviously with the work side of things, it's not capable for everyone to change how they approach work slightly, and their expectations and capacity and all of those things. But I think outside of work you definitely can, and outside of work you can definitely support yourself. That's going to help you in work even during those phases as well.
Yeah. And even, for sure, like if you are someone who doesn't have control over that, you do have control of bringing yourself more food to eat on your shift.
How much sleep you get.
We always say focus on what you can control, forget about the rest. It's none of your business, of your business.
Yeah.
But the negative side to cycle syncing, and as all wellness trends, we do think this has been sort of blown out of proportion a little bit. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes we're guilty of doing that too. And I think that's just the world of social media. However, cyclical living doesn't need to be another task that you have to do. I think it's important to know that the small things really add up to allow you to feel that big difference. And thinking that you have to follow a strict routine 4 different times within a month is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I just need to tell you that that's not realistic. And if you are someone who's doing that, please just take a deep breath, because that's wild. And I think it's just being kind of blown out of proportion a little bit. And it's become a trend that we have to follow, not a practice of body awareness.
Yeah. And I think Maya said it beautifully. I think if we could change it from cyclical living to cycle awareness, it would be a lot better. Just getting curious with our bodies, starting with cycle tracking, starting understanding our own ebbs and flows, and then using that information. That's really all cyclical living is. Take inspiration, obviously, from this episode, from the seasons of nature. And, obviously, I think my biggest advice is it's really exciting when you learn about this. I know for me, when I first started this, I was like, holy shit, this is everything that I've been feeling my whole life, and someone's putting it into words. Like, how do they know how I feel? So that was a really exciting journey for both of us, and we dove headfirst into that. And that's why our first product was the Cyclical Living ebook. So I think my word of advice is go all in, try everything, because I think that's part of the journey, because you'll figure out what sticks, what you like, what you don't like. And I think it's kind of like, I think I saw something on online recently, actually it was a while ago, but it was about diet diet cultures, you go from like not having any awareness about your diet, and then you go vegan for a couple of years, and then you sugar-free and gluten-free, and then you go carnivore, you just like you go to all of the extremes, and then eventually you get to a place where you just balance. You have a little bit of sugar, you eat healthy most of the time, you go out every now and again, you have a couple of wines, and it's finding that balance. And I think that in anything in life, that's kind of what happens. You get addicted to something, and then you start to bring it back to more balance. Yeah. So I think naturally, don't beat yourself up. Go all in, do all the meal preps, do all this, learn what you like. And I think eventually you just naturally come back around. But also know, if you just want to skip all of that and just go straight to the balance, follow what we're saying.
Okay as well, 100%. So we wanted to go through a few things that we do to live in sync with our cycles. Disclaimer, I don't really eat cyclically. That's a lie. Hang on, let's just get into it. I'm jumping ahead. You go.
My first one that I wrote down is communicate with Jesse, particularly when I'm in my luteal phase. I'll say I'm in my luteal phase, and that's all that needs to be said. Like, he understands what that means, and he knows that can mean I'm a little bit more sensitive. So I think a big thing for me being in a relationship is just communication. And that's part of cyclical living, is being able to communicate my needs to and, capacity to other people.
Yeah. My first one is lower my expectations for myself. But guys, the trick here is finding the balance between having low expectations and just being fucking lazy, because there are times where I'm like, oh my God, I can do this. I know that I can, but I'm using my cycle as an excuse to not right now. So they're finding, again, as Eliza was saying, finding that balance between being lazy and actually just being like, okay, I'm expecting a little bit like less energy from myself today. I feel like I just approach life differently, like if I'm in that phase of my cycle where I'm a little bit more tired, I'm a little bit more slow, I just don't rush, and I'm like, it's okay, like things will get done today. And it's like, lowering expectations, I think, automatically brings a bit more acceptance into 100%. Life as well. Yeah.
So good. And I think just on that, I think you raised a really good point. That's probably another negative of cyclical living, is we can then start to attach everything to our cycle, which can have actually kind of a negative effect. Like, obviously cycle awareness is so important, but then sometimes it becomes an excuse. I can't do this because I'm in my luteal phase. You can't speak to me like that because this. I snapped at you because I'm in my luteal phase and I can't control my hormones. So I think this is something even we are still, because a lot of clients will ask us this question, is like, how do I know if I'm just being lazy or it's my luteal phase? And I think that this is still something that we're trying to figure out how we can communicate to you girls how to recognize that within yourself, because it is very individualized, and we can't say like, oh, you didn't work out for 5 days, that means you're lazy, and it's not to do with, it's really hard to, it's not a black and white blanket
cycle
rule.
Tracking.
And I think coming back to cycle tracking and figuring out what's a pattern and then what's just like a once off and you're like, oh, I can't go, because of this. Yeah. I think that's a huge part. But I think I just wanted to touch on that because it is really important.
Like, where are you getting in your own way versus what's actually your cycle?
Yes, because I'm actually my strongest in my luteal phase.
Me too.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
We're like protecting our potential fertilized egg.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is eating more during my luteal phase. I knew we were going to have to double up on this one.
That's my number 2 as well.
But because your body thinks that you're potentially pregnant, it needs more fuel to feed this fertilized egg and create a beautiful little home for it to be housed. And just know, I think a lot of us girls have grown up in a world where we're like, eating more food equals we get fat, which is just not the case. Our body actually speeds up our metabolism, and which is really, really interesting. So even though you're eating more food, your body is...
And let's also reframe fat.
Yeah.
Because I think that skinny is like skeleton these days.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's like red carpet vibes.
Yeah.
So when we say... I just wanted to say, I don't want to say anything that's going to be offensive, but let's just keep that in mind, okay?
Yeah. So I think that we've grown up in a world that's what we think, and it's unfortunately, which is just not the case. And with the way that our female biology works, our body is not designed to put on more weight during that time of our cycle because we're eating more. It's actually we're
using calories.
those calories. So please eat more because it will really help your mood. For me personally, how this would actually look is maybe I'm having lunch and usually I'd have like a quarter of a sweet potato. I might have a whole half of sweet potato. I might have a whole cup of rice. So it's very heavily carb focused. So slow burning carbohydrates is the main thing that I would increase during my luteal phase, and that helps my mood so much. And just preparing extra snacks. I think I'm more snacky between meals as well.
Honestly, like the mood and the luteal phase is the simple solution is to eat. My goodness gracious me, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I hate everything. And then I have some food and I'm like, oh,
and you might be like,
perfect.
oh, but I'm eating the exact same way I was last week. But I remember what I just said. You need to eat more than you were last week. Your hormones are changing. So you might be like, but I haven't changed anything. It's like, that's the problem. You haven't changed anything.
And also, guys, I think something that gives me a bit of peace of mind when it does come to eating more and still having those battles with like, oh my God, I'm eating more than I usually am. What's wrong with me? Think about how in those two, the menstrual phase and the follicular phase, your appetite's naturally lower. So you're not actually eating as much in those phases of your cycle as you are after you've ovulated. So it balances itself out really nicely. Because I know for me, when I'm in the first and second half of my cycle, I'm like, I could be a fasted queen, bar a savoury breakfast. Savoury breakfast always. But I feel like I can probably skip lunch and I would be fine, which I don't do. But I could do it if I wanted to.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, summer and winter. Winter we get well, not in Queensland, but I'm going to use like tropical places. But in winter you get so much rain and then it balances out because you get no rain in summer. You know, that's just kind of the vibe to make it simpler for you girls. But my last one that I've put down, there's a few more things that we would do, but we're going to keep it short and sweet for this well, we've tried to keep this episode short and sweet. It hasn't really worked.
We're talking about ducks.
But avoid cooling foods during my luteal phase and menstrual phase. This is probably the biggest, eating more in my luteal phase, and then the temperature of my food is as far as my cyclical eating probably goes. But this is really important because cold constricts blood flow, and when our blood flow is constricted, it can increase cramps. So if you're someone that is experiencing cramps, highly recommend switching out any cold drinks and food during your luteal menstrual phase. So no iced coffees, no ice water, having more roasted vegetables, stews, soups, whatever it is. And then also on that cold front, keeping your feet warm as well. So slippers on the feet, socks on the feet during your luteal menstrual phase. Thank me later.
Such a simple tip too, guys. Like, I hope you realise that all of these are actually quite achievable.
So achievable.
My last one is I'm tossing up between two, but I'm going to go with this one, and it is to prioritise more time for myself. I think I'm quite good at this anyway, because please don't invite me anywhere I don't want to go. But especially in that second half of my cycle, I'm very aware of my capacity, and a lot of the time my capacity just doesn't include other people at all. So I just honour that. Yeah, and I say, see you later, you won't see me for a few days. And then, like, I even find that if I go against that, like, for instance, I remember I went to coffee with a friend literally the morning of the day I got my period, and I was just like, I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I felt like I didn't show up for her. I felt like a shit friend. I felt like I was being a bitch because I was just like, ugh. Like I was just being a teenager, you know, when you're just like a moody teenager. And I just remember going home and being like, wow, I was a real asshole this morning. So I just think in times like that, it's like, let's prevent that from happening.
Yes.
And actually, even if it's just sitting with yourself in the morning for like 30 seconds and being like, what do I need from myself today? Do I need a hot bath? Do I need an extra 5 minutes to have a morning meditation? Do I need to lock myself in my room all day and then go with that? I think that for me is a big one.
Yeah.
So those are our tips, guys.
Those are our
Cyclical
tips.
living.
So simple. And it's interesting. I feel like a lot of them were around the luteal and the menstrual phase.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what really is, because I think the world of women, the luteal phase can tend to be, not always, can tend to be more challenging to
Yes.
move through this masculine energy world, because
Yeah.
that is a phase of our cycle when it's actually more feminine energy, so there can be like that disconnect.
Yes.
And I think that's why a lot of our supportive practices that we focus on are in that time when our body is wanting more of that feminine approach. So
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably another challenge for you girlies if you do experience the luteal phase to be really hard. Are you accepting yourself as a feminine being? Because regardless of gender, we're made up of both.
Yeah.
And you need to be honoring both sides of you, because balance equals everything in life. And if you're not accepting that feminine part to yourself, then no wonder you're struggling in that second half of your cycle.
And at that, we'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Have a good day.
This was such a good episode. I feel like this was helpful, if I do say so ourselves. So send it to a friend, share it with your sister, your mum, your brother, your uncle, your auntie, and give us a comment if you like this app.
Love you guys.
Ciao.
See you next time.